That's what you do, that's who you are. You couldn't keep it together, baby, that's why we fell apart. On the low, just like how we didn't know. I got news for you, my mom ain't raised no fool. Now, say that I'm tripping, bugging so hard, but you crossed the line when you threatened. And I cannot forgive it, cause you made your decision. When it comes to my heart, baby, that's when I take no prisoner. Boy, cause I got my own bag, yeah, I pay my own bills. Matter of fact, it's my crib, let me tell you the deal. Pack it up, pack it up, go. Get your things, cause you got to go. Get your things up out my home. I don't wanna see your face no more when I walk through that door. I don't know and I don't care what kind of stuff you must be on. If you thought that I was average, you got me wrong. Get gone, 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 gone. Get gone, get gone. Why did you do it? You out here walling so my peace of mind, now I'm feeling like Kendrick. You killing my vibe, please don't kill my vibe. Wasting my time, you wasting my time.
Yes, you did.
Cause I swear I believed it. I bought the beautiful lie that we was gonna make it. All the love that I've given, everything that I shared in, you gon' throw it away for a thotty boy, was it worth it? Hold up, boy, cause I got my own bag, yeah, I pay my own bills. Matter of fact, it's my crib, let me tell you the deal. Pack it up, pack it up, go. Get your things, cause you got to go. Get your things up out my home. I don't wanna see your face no more when I walk through that door. I don't know and I don't care what kind of stuff you must be on. If you thought that I was average, you got me wrong. Get gone, 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 gone. Get gone, get gone. Why you wanna snack when you had the whole meal? Why you tryna flex when I know the real? You shoulda known, you shoulda known, you shoulda known, you shoulda known. Why you wanna snack when you had the whole meal? Why you tryna flex when I know the real? You shoulda known, you shoulda known. Get gone, get your things up out my home. I don't wanna see your face no more when I walk through that door. I don't know and I don't care what kind of stuff you must be on. If you thought that I was average, you got me wrong. Get gone, 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 get gone, get your things up out my home. I don't wanna see your face no more when I walk through that door. I don't know and I don't care what kind of stuff you must be on. If you thought that I was average, you got me wrong. Get gone, 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 get gone, get gone.
How's everybody doing today? It's the Proof in the Pudding podcast show, and I go by the name of Sion 919. On this good Sunday, I'm very excited about today's show. I had the opportunity of knowing this woman for a long time. She's definitely well respected. Definitely done put in a lot of dues and paved the way in Carolina music. So multi-nominated, multi-award winner, all the way representing the QC, my good friend, Amanda Pollard. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, Sion. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm super excited to be here.
I'm definitely excited to have you because, like I said, it's been a long journey. So let's talk about that video before we get into that right quick. That you got me wrong right there. You always brought the dance. You always brought the whole show with it. But you switched it up a little bit on that one. Let's talk about making that record and what was that process like?
Yeah. Well, I heard the track and like for me, like writing has always been like an organic process. Like I don't go into it thinking like I'm gonna make a song about this or that. Like I hear like some production or I hear like a track and I'm just like, okay, this is
Right.
what I feel like it makes me feel like. And so then I just write whatever that is. And
Okay.
so that's how I got there. People are like, "Well, what's going on in your life? Was so and so made you mad?" I'm like, "No, like, I'm just
Right.
that's just the way the song made me feel when I heard the track." So that's how I got
Wow.
there.
And it's definitely a powerful message in the song right there. It's definitely empowering. And you always been a woman of empowerment. Before
Thanks.
we start, I said multiple nominated. We're talking about 15 or more nominations throughout your career. We're talking about 9-time winner. How does that feel looking back now from when you first started?
Oh my gosh, so humbled. Um, I've always thought that like it's I can't really take a whole lot of credit for it. I feel like it's just God moving in my life because Um, I know what so many other artists had as far as like financial resources, or like popularity resources going into this. Like, I didn't have any of those things.
Wow.
The only thing I had was like just a serious desire to do this. Like, I had to do it. Like, I couldn't like just not do it. I had to try. And so I just
Wow.
feel like God really blessed me because I know what it takes especially as far as finances, to make it in this business, you have to invest a lot of money into it.
Right.
And God gave me so many different opportunities.
Wow.
So I feel
Right. And
humbled,
look,
honestly.
that's a beautiful thing right there. And God definitely made the way. Looking from the outside in, you've accomplished so much, right? Let's take it back to the beginning. Like, yo, around what age did you first fall in love with singing?
Oh gosh, I've been singing always. But I think when I was in high school, I started because I went to the School of the Performing Arts, and so
Okay.
um, I started performing, like doing like musical theater and all of that, and I just really fell in love with like the stage. Like it was just, I don't know, it felt so natural to like rehearse something really hard and then you get this sense of accomplishment like when you actually perform it and you can see that people are having a good time and it felt like this is what I need to be doing, you know.
Wow. Right.
And I kind of wish I had started earlier. I didn't have a lot of confidence when I was a kid. Like I got
Wow.
picked on, and so I didn't really think that I was like anybody would ever like wanna, you know, see me as an artist. So that
Wow.
didn't develop until a little bit later, where I actually got the confidence to be like, okay, I'm gonna try this.
Right. Okay. So you started in the performing arts, right? What were
Yeah.
some of your best memories back then? Because I'm pretty sure you're singing, you're acting, you're doing plays and all types of stuff at the performing arts school. So what were some of your best memories?
Oh man, I have so many. Like I loved my school. Like I tell people all the time, like it's Northwest School of the Arts here in Charlotte, and I just think like it was just the best experience in the world. It was like a really small school. Like all the kids knew each other. Like it's middle and high school, so we
Right.
all went there forever. And but I remember one time our school did was selected to do the Southeast like theater competition or something. I think it was called, and we got to go to Alabama and compete. And some of the schools were so awesome, but we did an amazing job. And I'll just never forget, like, because it was such a small cast of people. It was maybe like 14 people, I think, and so it just we became like really close, and it was just awesome experience, really.
Okay. So you said a thing, right? We see you now. You're a woman of strength, woman of empowerment. Not only are you a strong woman, you empower other women. You said a powerful thing. You said, but coming up, you didn't always feel that way. How
Hmm.
did you make the transition and how did you build your esteem up and confidence to get out there and say, you know what, I can do this?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I think as I started to get older, I started to see that like, I can do things. Like I think as far as people go, like we start to like form our self-image on like what other people are saying about us, like, and then hopefully, as we get older, we can start to see through some of the lies of that, and like like I said, I got picked on a lot when I was a kid. I was constantly picked on. And so I think just as I started to realize, hey, I can do things, like, hey, people, nobody's making fun of me like when I try something, you know?
Right.
So keep trying something. Keep trying new things. Don't just be afraid that, people are just gonna make fun of you. Like go out there, put yourself out there. And as I started to do that, I think God was just encouraging me and letting me get positive responses, and it just gave me more and more courage to keep trying new things.
Okay, and that's real right there. So let me ask you, how important has God been in your career?
That's I don't even have words for it. Like I sincerely, like I'm not even just like it's not like the fake humility. Like I'm genuinely like I know for a fact like I would not have done any of these things if He did not bless me, because like I said, I started later than a lot of other artists. Like you really should I'm not saying you really should, but a lot of people start when they're like 13, 14 years old. That
Right.
wasn't me. I didn't have the courage to do it back then. I certainly didn't have a whole bunch of disposable income to be paying for a bunch of different things. But God gave me so many opportunities that, like, sometimes I've even had people message me before, how did you get this show? I don't know. God, God did it. I don't know. Like, I don't know how I got the show. I didn't do anything more than, anybody else except put in hard work. That was my part. Like,
Right.
God gave me opportunities and I was willing to work um, for my part of it. So,
And you definitely did. You have been putting in work, and you consistently been putting in work over the years. So let me ask you: did you start singing first, or did you start writing first?
I started singing first,
Start
definitely.
singing first.
I didn't even think I had any songwriting ability until later, again, later in life. Because when I first started, I thought I needed somebody to like guide me and like tell me what to do and like show me where to go. And so I have a cousin who's been in the music business since like the late 70s. And so I was
Oh
constantly
wow.
asking him, help me, tell me what I need to do. And he was like, well, go write some songs. And I was like, I don't know how to write songs. I don't know. And so again, it was just one of those things that like I tried it, and as I saw that it was okay, I kept trying, and I think I got better and better at it as time went on. I guess like
Oh,
those things.
okay, so let me ask you: who were some of your early inspirations, like as far as singers? Who were some singers that you looked to and you admired their voices?
Oh gosh, I when I was first starting out, I was so obsessed with Aaliyah. I know, like she's
Really?
just like I don't know. There's just something about her whole energy and vibe that's just like I love that. Like that's so inspiring.
Right.
Um, Usher, Beyonce, Michael Jackson, um, you know, all of the I guess older school
Right.
now. But yeah.
Okay, and that's when music it had a substance in music. It was like love. It was about real things going on. So music
Hmm.
definitely was inspirational back then. So you starting out, you're singing, right? So it's
Hmm.
like, how did you make the transition into writing?
Um, like I said, my cousin, he was just like, you should start writing some songs. Here's some tracks I produced, go do it. And I was like, at the time, like I was freaking out. Like I was like, I don't know how to do this, but like I just stuck with it. Um, and then over time, like as I started, letting it be known around me, like, hey, I'm trying to get into music, people would say, hey, well, I'm a producer. Why don't you come and let's see what we can work on together? And then it just started to grow from there. Um,
So,
and like I said, I think I started getting better and better at it. And I realized that it was a skill that I had, a talent that I had, I guess. And I never even knew that it was there. I guess nature is necessitated, I guess, in this case. I had
wow.
to had to figure it out.
And it definitely worked out for you. So let's talk about creating your sound, because I'm pretty sure the sound that you have, it took you a while. What was that process like for you?
I had to find, I think, what felt most authentic to me, and um, the majority of the songs I've released. In fact, I think all of the songs that I have released, I've written. And
Wow.
so there have been songs that I've tested or demoed before that other people wrote for me, or just wrote and wanted me to try it, and it didn't necessarily feel supernatural. Not supernatural. It didn't feel really natural for
Right.
me. And so as time went on, like I was pretty much in control of my career and what's going to be released. And so I released the things that felt most natural to me, and those are the things that I wrote for the most part.
Right.
And so it's always just been a very natural process for me, very organic.
Right. And that's the thing I was about to say. You always been authentic. You always been organic. And the thing about being yourself and being honest and being organic, you have that longevity. Because like, you're trying to be something for the right then. It's like the careers don't last as long. But it's like with
Hmm.
you, you've consistently been around, you've consistently been elevating, you always keep evolving. So let me ask you, you said you had a little help, but it's like he said, I got the beats, but show me what you're gonna do. I want to see if you're serious. So you
Hmm.
start writing the songs and stuff like that, right? So let me
Hmm.
ask you, what was some of your first songs that you wrote, and what was the response you got when you let people hear 'em?
Oh, that is a good question. Some of the first songs I wrote, I'm cheating because it's like so sentimental to me. I'm just like, oh, they were my babies.
Wow,
Like,
right,
but yeah, I think people were really encouraging, like, like, oh, that's pretty good because I guess, people didn't know that I could write a song, and I guess maybe they were expecting something really bad, so they were just like, this is good. And I was
right.
like, yeah, it's not so bad. So let me just, keep
Wow.
trying and seeing what happens. But those thinking about those old songs, I'm like, oh,
Right.
babies.
Wow. And that's the thing right there. So over the years, you see the growth. So let me ask you about some of your first performances because, like, I've seen you numerous times. You bring a whole stage show. How important is the performance to you?
Oh man, that's all of it. Well, maybe not all of it. I don't know. I love so many different aspects about creating and being a singer and a songwriter. But I love to perform. Like I was telling you, like that I think is what got me into it. It's just like falling in love with the musical theater that I used to do in high school. And so
Right.
performance was always like a big part of it. And like I would watch those artists that I was telling you about, like Leah and Beyonce and Usher. And I think back in the day they used to have what was it, like MTV Diaries or something like that way back in the day. And I
Right.
would be like, I would watch those like religiously. Like I would download the videos on the internet and be like, oh, this is what I need to do. Like this is how I need to do it. But it took a really long time to get there.
Wow. Wow.
Like I can remember my very first like performance as an artist, and I was so nervous. Like I really thought I like that I was gonna throw up. I
Wow.
was so nervous, but all I did was like stand there. Like I didn't move. Like I couldn't move. I was too scared to move my body from that one spot that when they gave me the mic, that's where I stood. Like I couldn't move.
Right. So,
But
okay. So it's
yeah.
like you was in the moment. It's like it's definitely nervous. And I'm pretty sure even now you still get a little nervous, but
Oh
when it's
yeah.
showtime, you hit the switch on them. So it's like, okay. So we're talking about early in your career, your first performances and stuff like that. So it's like looking back now, what are some things that stood out the most when it comes to the performances in your career?
Um, I think I guess one of my biggest like takeaways from the early thing, and something I've even told some of the dancers that I've worked with, is it's just like when you want something really bad, at some point your desire to do the thing overcomes your nerves. And so
Wow.
it's like, yes, the first time I performed one of my songs for people in public, I was stupid nervous. But I wanted to get better. Like I record myself, like every show that I ever do, I have recorded, and I watch it and I look at it and I'm like, okay, what can I do to do better at this? What could I have done better? How can I make it better? Um, and so I think my early performances, like there was a lot of that. There was a lot of looking at it and analyzing it and trying to figure out how I can be better at it.
Wow. And that's the thing right there. A lot of people, they don't do that. I hear you saying you're doing. You did a lot of research. You did a lot of studying. It's almost like sports. They watch the tapes
Mm-hmm.
to prepare. So it's like, even before that, you were watching some of the legends that inspired you. You're hearing their stories. You're seeing the work they're putting in. And you're like, yo, I can do that. So now transitioning, you becoming the artist, you're implementing these things into your life. Now you're watching your shows. I can do that different. Let me see how my face is looking. Let me see if I'm moving more.
Mm-hmm.
From there, right? How hard was it to find your own from the beginning?
Um, I think I think it was quite a process. Actually, I think it was a longer process than I realized until you just asked me that question. Because even
Right.
before I started performing, like I would literally just practice in my kitchen and like set up the camera and like record myself. I'm
Wow.
like, see, like this is how I'm moving. No, that's not really how I want to do it. Let me try to move like this. Oh, that's a little bit better. Maybe if I do this. And so I would do that like for hours and hours, like to see like how I can be or how I want to look. How is it that I want to come across? And so I would say I started doing that maybe a year and a half before I ever like started working with backup dancers or anything
Right.
like that.
Wow. So let me ask you, over the years, what's 5 things that you learned throughout your career?
Hmm. Um, One, don't wait for somebody else to do things for you. Do it for yourself. Um, Two, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like sometimes it doesn't go the way you planned. Sometimes it's not as good as you thought it was going to be. Um, but you don't die. You can just learn from it. Um, Number three, trust your gut. Don't discount that, because I think God gives us this intuition for a reason. And sometimes if a situation seems like it's not good or it's not beneficial for you, um, don't do it because there are a lot of people in this business that just want to scam you. Really, they say it's gonna be they're doing a show for whatever, and oh, it'll only cost this and that, and they'll cancel the show or keep your money or whatever
Right.
the case is. So follow your gut. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Don't let people push you to doing things you don't want to do, especially as a female artist. People will um, come for you in all kinds of crazy ways.
Right.
So don't let people push you to do things you're not comfortable with. And five, don't be afraid of hard work.
Definitely. Definitely got to put the work in. And one thing I can say about it, over the years, your image. You've always had a professional image. It's nothing, no negativity, no drama, no foolishness has ever been attached to your name. So when you think about Amanda Pollard, you're thinking professional, you're thinking about, multi-nominated. So it's like you already had established a certain respect, if that makes sense.
Thanks. Yeah, it does.
Okay, so let me ask you, being a female in the industry, how did you brand yourself that way to avoid some of the loopholes and some of the traps that other people may get caught up
Well, I like to think that I try to live my life in a manner that's according to my faith. And I'm just not a person in general, just like in my personal life. Like I'm just a no drama person. And like I just don't have drama in my life, like just period. So there have been times where it's like people try to maybe instigate certain things in me and other artists, and I'm just not going to engage with it. Like I'm not going to do it. Like that's not what I got into this business for. I got into it because I love to do it. And
with?
so I'm not here for foolishness. Um, and like I said, I'd like to think I try to live my life according to my faith and treating people how I would hope that they treat me. Um, so I guess that's how I got there.
Okay, and that's the thing, and you're definitely doing it, and you're still here. not only in North Carolina, you branched out. So let's talk about the early beginnings. How did you first get started in the game? Were you like doing open mics? Were you traveling?
Hmm.
What was your process like?
Yeah. That very first show that I was telling you about, it was an open mic.
Oh
And
wow.
I had started like, telling my age, here we go.
No, you good.
MySpace. MySpace. I had like started collecting all of these like resources, and like when everybody like left MySpace, like I started like following some of the same people. And I would see like they would post like open mic, and I'd be like, oh gosh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And for me, like it might as well have been like the Grammys or something,
Right,
because like that's how nervous I was about it. But
right,
yeah, I definitely started with the open mics and just putting myself out there. Um, and then I would just do research to see, what are some other things that I can do. And so I started looking in the Atlanta area, since it's only 4 hours from here. It's not too far
right.
for me to get to. And so I started making contacts there just because I would go down there for shows. Even if it was an open mic, like I would drive down there um, just to do it. And so I started meeting people out there as well.
Okay. How important is making networks and keeping those networks in good standing in this industry?
It's vital. Like there's no other way to put it. And it's actually something that doesn't come supernatural to me. I'm more of an introverted person, and so I have to really like put forth conscious effort to like network with people and go out and talk to people, because if it's up to me, I'll just sit in the corner,
Right,
quietly. But you have to network with people. You have to, and you have to support other people in order to build that network and to maintain it, because that's how most of my, um, I guess, relationships have been formed in this business. Just supporting other people, and just letting them know that you genuinely want to see them make it too. Like
right.
people helping other people, like helps you as an independent artist.
Definitely, most definitely. So you said a key word, being an indie artist. You don't
Hmm.
have the machine behind you. You don't have the millions of people that's doing this. They're putting the money up. So being a
Hmm.
black woman, indie artist, what was that process like for you? Because a lot of times people they look from the outside and you're an artist, you're gonna be on the radio tomorrow.
Right.
What was your process like?
I think one of the things, especially as a black woman, and maybe now even more so than ever, it's just like there's a certain stereotype of like how you should be and how you should talk and how you should look. And I really reject that. I reject labels like just in general, but I really don't like stereotypes. And so I've always tried to just like be true to myself, um, because just because I'm black doesn't mean that I'm going to be the way that you think I'm going to be. Like I can be
Right,
proud of being a black woman, and it have nothing to do with the way that I speak or the way that I dress or the style of music that I sing. Maybe it's not what you think that I should be singing just because I'm black, but it's what's authentic to me. And so I've always tried to just be real to myself. And I think that that is more needed now than ever in the industry, because I feel like black women are being pigeonholed into
right,
being one thing. Like this is how you are if you're a black artist. You look this way and you do X, Y, and Z. And I don't think that's fair.
right. It's being creative, it puts a limit and a cap on the creativity.
Hmm.
You've always had a way of expressing yourself and doing it in a respectable way. What were some of your first projects that you remember working on?
Um, I remember way back when I very first started, um, I had a couple of tracks that I was super excited about. Um, they sounded so good. They were so dynamic, and I'm still actually feeling really blessed that I was able to work with this particular producer. But I think that he just had other things in mind for how our
Wow.
relationship was gonna be, and that's not what it was
Right.
gonna be. Um, but I remember being so excited about um, just where I could go creatively. I feel like when I first started, I didn't know where I was going. With some of these early projects, I remember being so excited. Like, this is where like my horizon began to be open, and like this is where you can go. Like the sky is really the limit. Like just keep going, keep creating, and seeing where it'll take you. And
Right.
yeah, it's just exciting.
Okay, so let me ask you, being an artist in the game, right? Once the business gets involved, a lot of
Hmm.
times it becomes more work. And a lot of times it burns the artists out because they're not able to be creative. Now you have people saying, I want you to make a song like this. I want you to look like that.
Hmm.
How did you keep your zeal? How did you keep your passion in this industry?
Well, I'm blessed enough to say that, I've been in control of most of it. I have worked with some managers before, but they've been really understanding of like who I am, um, as an artist. I think I've had maybe one or two incidents where it's like, I want you to wear this and I want you to wear that. And it's just like a hard no. Like, no, like I'm just not gonna do it.
Right,
Um, I've been blessed enough to have that be like a smaller part of it. Overall, like I've just been able to really execute, my creative vision most of the time. So like the video that you played when it started, like that's my baby. Like there's not one single part of it that like didn't come from me. Like all
wow,
of it was me. I edited it. I picked up the clothes. I did the choreography. All of it. Like so, it's all me. So I'm really blessed that, for the most part, um, everything that I've been able to do has just been something that I wanted to do. So it's not something that really sucked the life out of me, like, kind of like
right,
what you were talking about.
right. And that's the thing, because you still have your passion, you still have a smile on your face through it all.
Hmm.
One thing is, okay, your fashion, right? You always make statements. I've never seen you show up where it's like, yo, you just look regular. It's like it's showtime. You've done that even with the billboards and you had, the dances and stuff like that. So let me ask you, how has fashion inspired you? And then where do you get the inspiration when doing your choreographing? And how did you get into dance initially?
Well, I think, I'll start with the first part of your question. I think fashion inspires me, because I think people come to see a show, to be transported like out of the everyday. So like you want to go and get this experience. And so like the artists that I've always admired have always been the ones who like were doing the most with their shows and performances. And so I think, what you wear is a part of that. Like if you're going for a casual look, then make sure it's the most bomb casual look that you can come up with.
Right,
Um, and then I'm also blessed because my mom, she always like helped me like get the clothes for myself and my dancers. A lot of the things that I would wear, like shoot, make. And so I'm really blessed to have her, influence, like just help me, guide me, especially when I first started and I didn't know
right,
what to do. Like I would ask her, like, what should we wear? What should we do? And she would always have the right idea. And so a lot of it is her as well.
wow. That's a beautiful thing right there. So
Yeah.
were you always a dancer? When did you get into
No,
dance?
no, was not always a dancer. Again, like it's just one of those things. Like when I was a kid, like just getting picked on for being like awkward and weird. And so like even when I was in high school, like doing the musical theater thing, I think I even heard one of my teachers like say something shady about like my dancing to like one of my other friends, and it like made me so self-conscious. And it's just
Wow.
like, again, like it just got to a point where it was like my desire to perform the way that I wanted to was more than my fears of being looked at as awkward or like she
Right.
can't dance or any of that. Like I dove head in.
Wow. You didn't let it stop you. And that's the thing right there. We've taught that words, they don't have power. Words really do have power. And kids, they
Hmm.
say some mean things.
Mm-hmm.
How did you overcome, right? And how did what people were saying affect you? Like, because a lot of times it's like we get picked on as kids. It's like some people, they never get over this stuff. How
Yeah.
did you deal with that and turn that into a strength and even motivation in your career?
Um, Again, I think my faith had a lot to do with it. One scripture that my mom would tell me all the time when I was like a kid and self-doubting was God has not given us a spirit of fear,
Right.
but He's given us a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So I've tried to do that. It came later in life. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard, especially the younger you are, to like define yourself outside of what other people are saying. But I got there eventually. But I'm not gonna say I'm glad I got picked on, but um, I think it helps me have like perspective on
Right.
like the world and myself. Like I people are just like, oh, you must not have a big head, or you must have a big head, and I'm like, no. Maybe I have a big head. They used to say I have a 5 head, so I mean,
Wow.
maybe that. But I
Wow.
mean, you know,
And that's the thing about you, right? For people that may not be familiar, they may be from the outside looking in, right? I'm looking at you. You always been glammed up. You always almost like a model type
oh,
status.
thanks.
So it's like to hear you say, I used to get picked on. I didn't have confidence in certain things like that, right?
Hmm.
Now people see you on stage. You're dancing. You're singing. It's like you have all this confidence, right?
Hmm.
Is it almost like day and night once you get on the stage? And like I hear you say I'm introverted when I'm not the artist. So it
Hmm.
almost, is it day and night, or is it like, how is it for you? Is it therapy? How is music for you?
Well, music is definitely therapy, for me. It's very therapeutic, to be creative. I think everybody is creative, even people who don't really think they are. I think, all humans are creative on some level. But for me, most certainly it's like a switch. Like I can be feeling like crap and then waiting for 2 hours for my show time or whatever and feeling like crap. But I get the mic in my hand and the light switches. Like it's
Wow.
time to go.
Right.
Like my performance is so important to me that, it's stronger than whatever else I might be feeling. Like especially fear. I'm
Right.
determined to do this. I'm determined to do my best. And so like I said, it's like just a light switch, and it's another part of me that is generally not expressed.
Right. And that's the thing about being creative. We get to tap into different things in
Hmm.
our minds and different things we're feeling. So let me ask you, when you coming up with your styles, right? When you're coming up with your look, where do
Hmm.
you draw inspiration from?
Hmm. Um, Depends. Sometimes I have an idea in mind, like for a show or something, like, oh, I want us to look like maybe Vegas showgirls or something.
Right.
Um, or if it's, like uh, the video that we watched when it started, like I wanted it to be like glam meets grunge.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Sometimes I just get these ideas in my head for like how I want it to look. Like the visual aspect is a part of the creative process. So sometimes I just see it in my head, like this is how I think we should look.
Right. And that's the thing right there. What about the dance? When you coming up with the routines and choreographing, were you always choreographing when you with the dancers, or did you later on to start doing it more?
When it started again, like this is all my mom. Like she was a dancer when she was younger, and
Wow.
so I was like, "Mom, can you please help me? Like,
Right.
help me figure it out." And then, I think over the years I started to like find my own creative like inspirations for like how I wanted to move. But the vast majority of the things that I did, that's my mom's choreography.
Wow. And salute to her. Definitely big salute to
Yeah,
her.
sorry,
She's
mom.
definitely supportive. Yeah, definitely supportive. It's like y'all are definitely tight knits. So let me ask you, what part of your career? It may have been in the studio. It may have been on a stage, did you know where it's like, okay, I've been putting in the work, but it's like now it's really happening? What part of your career was that? What moment did you realize like it was happening? It's actually happening right
Yeah, I remember having this like almost out of body experience. There was a show in Raleigh, oh gosh, a long time ago now, but it was like the Divas Rock show.
now? Divas Rock.
And I had worked with this group of girls, about 6 girls, and just trying to get everybody together. There was so much work that had to go into trying to figure it out, getting everybody from Charlotte to Raleigh. It was just a lot. And then I
Right.
just remember like when we were wrapping up the routine, like I just got that feeling like, wow, like this is really all coming together. Like we're
Right.
really actually doing this thing. And it was just
Wow.
such a cool feeling. Like I can vividly remember how I felt that day.
Wow. Shout out to the Divas Rock. If I'm not mistaken, that was Lamont LP
It
Petaway.
was. Yep.
Salute to LP. Okay, so at that moment, right, it's all coming together. The hard
Hmm.
work is paying off. From there, what happened next?
From there, well, it I guess I just more opportunities started coming. I had some opportunities to do some shows in Houston later that year. And
Right,
so I started really like being able to branch out more. Um, but it I think it was just such a sense of accomplishment for me because like I said, there were so many moving parts. And so not only I'm coordinating all these different things, I'm also coordinating myself. I still have to practice and make sure that I can do my part as the artist. Like I said, I didn't really have a manager managing me. My mom helped me as much as she could, but it was really self-managing. So there's all these different things I'm managing, and just seeing it come together, I think really boosted my confidence that I can do this thing. Like I can do this thing. Yeah.
and that's the thing. It takes a lot to go into that. So you doing it all alone, independent, right?
Hmm.
How did you balance that being a woman, artist,
Hmm.
manager, promoter, booking agency? How did you balance wearing these different hats, and how did you pull it off?
Um, it was like my sole focus, like of everything that I did. Like I woke up in the morning, that was like the first thing I thought about was what I need to do, who I need to message back, whatever. And like the last thing I thought about before I went to sleep, like who do I need to
Wow.
message? Like what do I need to do?
Right.
And so it was very like all consuming. Um, and I'm not even gonna lie, like it took a lot of just emotional energy just to be able to do it.
Right.
And so, um, yeah, it's part of the reason why I've kind of been on a little hiatus the
Right.
last few years. Like it takes everything that I had to do it and to keep going for so long. And so, yeah, that's what that was like for me. It was all consuming.
Right. And that's the thing because you were constantly working. You were on the biggest shows, anything going on, your name was attached to it. I want to talk about the nominations and stuff like that. So, okay, you
Mhm.
get the first one. How you feeling at this point? You get your first nomination. How you feeling as an artist?
Oh my gosh, surreal. Like I actually still remember it.
Right.
Um, I was at work, and so I remember like seeing, I was like, what? Like, are you kidding me? I told all the people that I worked with. They were like, oh, it's so exciting. Like,
Right.
we're gonna vote for you. And like I just remember like it felt so cool. Like I didn't even know like these types of events like went on. And so
Right.
like I felt, I don't know. I was elated. I was so excited.
All right. So then 2, 3, 4, 15 later, right? Now I may be jumping out the window, but I'm willing to say you're the most nominated female R&B artist in North Carolina. Would you think that's correct or no?
I don't know. I don't know. So I can't say that for sure, but
Right.
I know that it's really really humbling. And like I said, a lot of these things like I can't really take any credit for. I don't know how I got nominated for the first time.
Right.
the Carolina Music Awards, or I'd never even heard of it.
Right.
Or the Southern Entertainment Awards, I'd never even heard of it. I didn't know these things existed, so I can't
Right.
really take any credit for it because I don't know, God. Like I don't know.
God
You
did it.
know, I don't even know. So it's really, really humbling, and it's really, really um I'm really, really grateful.
All right. To God be the glory on that one for real. Because it's 15 nominations, 9 won, right? So it's like, how does that feel looking back now, right? Okay. You put in the work. And like you said, it was so consuming. You know, it's constantly you're scheduling, you're messaging people back, you're writing songs, you're recording, you're practicing, you're rehearsing, you're choreographing. So it's like this is like a full-time job on top of
Mhm.
your normal responsibilities. So it's
Mhm.
like now this is your payoff, right? You know, and you already putting in work. And it's like you said, you know God did it.
Mhm.
9 awards later, how does that feel as an artist? Because like sometimes that's what we work for. Is like we just really want as an artist somebody to say you're pretty good or I like what you're doing.
Mhm.
So how did that feel for you morale for your morale and how did that make you feel 9 awards later?
Like I said, it feels really, really humbling. But I think you touched on something um important. You said you a lot of artists just want to be seen. And I think that's all people, right? Like you just want to be seen for like your gifts and what God has given you, and this is one of the things that he gave me. And so I think you're right, just having people see you for like who you are, and like I've always just kind of worn my heart on my sleeves like doing this, so what you see is pretty much what you get with me. So having people, see me and accept me has been awesome and really humbling. And like you said, just being known, just being seen. Um,
Wow.
because you, as an artist, and I know that you know this as well. Just like when you put your art out there, you're putting a piece of yourself out there,
Definitely.
and so just being seen, like you said, is awesome.
Wow. And that's the thing. Even with all the accolades, right? I just got to be honest. With all the accolades, with all the things attached to you, some people would win one award, and now they had an ego. They got the head. They got the, you can't reach them. One thing I can truly say about you, as long as I've known you, you've always been on your way up, right? You've always been humble. You've always been down to earth. You've always been accepting or open to somebody talking to you. Like you're the type of person, if somebody messages you, you actually would message them back. But it's like with the status, people wouldn't think like,
Hmm.
nah, she's gonna be a certain way. What's a misconception about Amanda Pollard?
Oh gosh. Um, I don't know. I hope that people can perceive me as being open, because I am. Like I said, I can't really take a whole lot of credit for a lot of the things that's happened. The only thing I can take credit for is that I work hard and
Right.
I put in a lot of hours of practice and everything for my shows. So I try to be humble because I already know, like, I shouldn't be here. Like, it shouldn't be me. I shouldn't be the one doing these things, but God saw fit to answer my prayer. So I hope that I come across as open and, people can talk to me. I'm just a regular person, just like anybody
Wow.
else. So
And
I
that
hope I
and
come
that's
across
the
that way.
and that's the thing is like, I keep saying you give the reference back to God. And it's like that's a powerful thing because it's all for his glory anyway. He gives us the
Hmm.
gift to bring him glory. So it's like I try to give it to you and you say no, it's God. So I definitely appreciate that and the fact that you acknowledge and like, yo, this is not me. This is not something I deserve. This could have happened to anybody. But
Hmm.
sometimes it's our character.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's our faithfulness. Sometimes it's when the doors are closed and it's like, yo, you're a pure person. You know your pure intentions. And
Hmm.
God felt like I can trust you with it.
Sure.
So when we see the accolades, it's like to somebody that's on the outside looking in, it makes sense talking to you because it's like you're genuine. You always been genuine. You're authentic, and it's not like I'm up here and they're down here. It's like it's like around the way, or almost like Aaliyah, how people say Aaliyah was like everybody loved Aaliyah. You have one of those type of spirits where it's like, not that you, like you said, it's like you ain't out there the loudest one in the room. You ain't running around in this place like that. You doing you're introvert, so you by yourself, but it's like you're authentic and you're genuine, and it's like you didn't let the career, you didn't let the accolades change who you were. So let me ask you, so you've been putting in work for all these years, right? So it's like now you say, okay, I just need a me time. I'm gonna just take a step back, right? How has that been for you?
I think it's bittersweet, because like I said, it was like all consuming.
Right,
And so it's like releasing that, letting that go for a little while has released me into figuring out other aspects of like who I am and who I want to be. But on the other hand, I'm a creative person, and
right,
so I really miss being creative, and so taking a step back has given me the opportunity, I think, to look and see like where do I want to go next? Like what are some of the things that I want to do just for me, not because I think it will help me make it, or somebody can get me in front of an exec, and what do I need to do this on myself? Like what do I want to do for me
right.
as a creative soul? What do I want to do? And so that's really what I've been doing, I think.
Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, because you had a long run, so it's almost like a vacation, almost like you're refreshing.
Yeah.
Let me get let me get refocused. So it's like in that point, you said a key thing. What do I want to do for me?
Hmm.
So all right, what's been some of the highlights of your hiatus, and what direction are you thinking at this moment?
Right now, I'm thinking that I want to do something I haven't had the opportunity to do thus far, and that is work on an album. I have an EP out there, but it's really just like a collection of songs that I had recorded. It was never conceived as like a body of work on its
Right.
own. It just sort of came together. But I would like to work on an album that like reflects who I am in life right now, and yeah, just be a complete body of work.
Okay. All right. So if I could get it out of you, do you have a title for it?
Oh gosh, no, not yet. Not yet.
No
I would have
title.
to see. It would probably be um the last thing that I come up with, because I'd have to see like, because like for me everything is so organic, it just happened. So I would have to see like how is this, what does this album represent?
Okay. All right. And there's nothing wrong with that. So let's talk about the beats. What type of sound do you want to hear on this album?
I want I want I want more R&B. I want more vibes, like just like chill vibes. But I want there to be a mix. I want there to be some upbeat songs because I love upbeat songs.
Right.
Um, like my favorite album right now, it's getting, well, I guess, a few years old at this point, but like the 24 Karat album by Bruno Mars. And the reason why I love
Wow.
that album is it makes me have so much fun. Like I hear those songs and I'm just happy. And
Right.
so I want like a mix. I want like a mix of sounds, but I want it to be more R&B heavy than
Right.
some of the past work that I've done.
Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. So it's like R&B heavy. You said 24K Bruno Mars. And
Yes.
I could see you in your car or home listening to
Mhm.
24K having just a good old time, right?
Oh yeah,
So
I'm
let me
that
ask
goofy
you.
person like dancing in the car. Like people are probably like, "What's wrong with that girl?" And I'm like, "I got my jams."
Wow. Yeah, and that's the thing, yo. You just have a beautiful spirit, yo. You're humble. It's like, and you're fun. So outside of music, right? For the people
Hmm.
that's watching, who's Amanda Pollard? When you're not being an artist, what do you enjoy doing?
I love to read. That sounds boring, but I I love to read. I've always been a reader. I guess maybe it just goes my introversion. I don't know. But I love a good book. Um, and I love just chilling. Like I'm a really chill person. Like for me, a good night is like hanging outside, like listening to some tunes, chilling, you know,
Wow.
taking it easy.
Okay. And you've done a lot of traveling with your career. What were some of your favorite places to perform and some of your best memories?
Um, I have had so many awesome experiences. I remember a time that I did a show in Houston, and it just turned into like this huge party after the performance, and we were just there dancing all night. It was so much fun.
Wow.
Um, yeah, that night sticks out to me. Like I just remember this was maybe, oh gosh. It might have been 2012, 2011. It was a really long time
Wow.
ago.
Right.
But it was a great show. Like it was so much fun. And then afterwards, like I said, everybody just started dancing and having a great time. It was so much fun.
Okay. It's not so Houston. So let me ask you, okay, if you when you put the album out, if you could put a tour together, the Amanda Pollard tour for your album, what's 5 states that you're looking forward to? If you could put it together, you can make it happen.
Obviously the Carolinas, both Carolinas.
Wow.
Um, Georgia.
Georgia.
Um, I'll probably go back to Texas. I have so much family there. Um,
Wow.
but a place I've never performed that I've always wanted to is Detroit. That's where I was born. Um,
Wow.
I've just never been able to do any shows there. And so it would be so awesome to like
Right.
go back up there and do some shows. That would be awesome. I would love that.
All right. So you slid that by me quick. So you're from Detroit. That's the home of Motown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So all right. So growing up, right, in our era, we're talking about Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
What's some people from Motown in that era that inspired you that you look to?
Well, I know some people, because I think Aaliyah went to the Detroit School for the Performing Arts, and
Right.
so I knew this kid who like had one of her textbooks, and like I think this is like showing everybody that it had her name like written in the textbook, that
Wow.
it was her book. But like I guess like old school like Motown artists. I mean, the Supremes, like they're so fabulous.
Right.
Like I don't know if they're actually like Motown artists, so I might be wrong there, but like
It was
Diana Ross
definitely
is
affiliated. Right.
known for being super fabulous, and so I I love some good sequins and a little extra drama there, and the Supremes always had that. So
Wow. So that's dope right there. So okay, so now with the pandemic, everything opening up, right? You had
hmm
the hiatus. You're working now, right? What can the people expect in the future? What can they look forward to?
hopefully this album, I would think that would be um something to really look forward to, because if I do get a chance to do it, it's gonna be um real. It's gonna be me. And so I hope to be able to bring folks that in the future. That would be amazing. I'm speaking it into existence.
Yeah. And I definitely got your back and I'm looking forward to it because you deserve it. You know what I'm saying? You had a lustrous career and you're still
Thanks.
growing and it's your passion. It's definitely your
hmm
passion. So okay, with that being said, right? The album, you put the EP out, the album
hmm
you want to put out, right? So let me
hmm
ask you, okay, with the hiatus, right? What are 5 things that you learned about yourself from not doing music? Since not doing music, what's 5 things that you learned about yourself?
that I guess one is that I have to be creating. Um, I have to. Otherwise, a piece of me is missing.
Right.
And so I guess another thing I've learned is that I'm always going to be performing in some capacity. Like it's who I am. So I have to have it be a part of my life, or um, I'm not being me. Like a part
Right.
of me is missing. And so um, I learned that um, I really do this thing because I love to do it. There's really no other reason for me to do all these things that I've done and go through some of the things that I've been through with this. Otherwise, like I just truly love to do it.
Right.
Um, and I guess another thing that I've learned is that um, I think the main thing is that this is like an indelible part of my nature. Like I
Right.
need to be involved in this in some sort of
Wow.
capacity. So I think that's probably the main thing that I've learned from this hiatus I've been on.
Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. So over your career and over time, you've grown, you got a little older and stuff like that. So you got a little wiser, right?
hmm
What's three things now, looking back over your life, that stand out the most? Where it's like where most people might have gave up. What are some things where it's like in the moments that you had to push through, and how did you get through those moments?
Um, I think there was certainly a lot of financial pressure when I was performing a lot. Um, it required more money, I think, than most people, like even maybe some of the dancers that I worked with, even realize like how much money I'm putting into this. Even
Right.
if it's just, us going down to or going up to Raleigh or something, like the gas isn't free. Like
Right.
I'm having to pay for all of this. Like the clothes on our backs are not free. And so there were a lot of financial hardships as I tried to make different things happen. And I really feel grateful that God sustained me through those times. Um, and He always made sure that there was something for me to hang on to. Like there was
Right.
always some glimmer of like, okay, keep going, keep working. Like this is worth it. Don't just give up on your dreams. Like I feel really grateful that there was always something, even if it was small, there was always something that helped me stay motivated, and not just be like, this is too much. Like I can't do this.
Wow.
Like yeah.
Right. And your faith brought you through it, and you're still here. It's like, and you're a strong woman. You, like I said, behind the scenes, we don't know what you're going through.
hmm
All I ever see is that same smile. My whole career of knowing you, that's all I know is that smile, and you're putting in hard work, working hard, and making it happen, and being determined. So it's like with that, that's an accomplishment in itself, because a lot of times it's like people, they start out strong. You've started strong, you continue to be strong, and it's like even in your hiatus, you're still strong, you're still smiling, you're still empowering, right?
Thanks.
So for the people that may be looking, you got any words for them, or like things that if they had to ask, if they asked you, so who is Amanda Pollard and what does her music represent? How would you answer that?
I feel like who I am as an artist is like your everyday girl. I'm just like you. And so I think that's one of the things I've always tried to bring to my image is just like just I'm your girl next door. I'm your friend. Like I'm you. I'm the same person. Um, and so I've always tried to bring that, and it's pretty authentic. Like I said, most what you see with me, this is what it is. Like you get what you see.
Right. And that's the thing, it's definitely genuine about you. So with everything going on in the world, let's take it away from music real quick. It's a real question.
hmm
With everything going on in the world, right? With the pandemic, with injustices going on, how have
hmm
you stayed focused? And how has any of that affected your life?
Yeah, like it was actually like, crazy for a while last year. Like I just remember like every day just feeling like what shoe is gonna drop today? Like what's gonna happen? Is there gonna be another murder? Is somebody else gonna die?
Right.
Like what's gonna happen? And I think at the beginning of this year, like I felt so pessimistic about the year. Just like, it's gonna be the same things last year. But it's actually getting a lot better. And one of the things that I've done for like just my own mental well-being is like I'm disengaged from the news. Like
Right.
last year, maybe up through like the beginning of this year, like the whole storm the Capitol nonsense, like I was like religiously checking the news, like
Right.
constantly, like what's going on? I need to know. But like now I've kind of backed off and I'm just like, you know what? This is too much.
Right.
Like I don't know what's going on, but it's it's too much.
Right. And that's the thing right there. It's like everywhere we turn is like things out of control. But having faith, we know that God
Hmm.
is in control, right? So
Absolutely.
with that being said, let me ask you, for your fans and people that may watch the video that maybe supported you through the years, do you have any words for them?
Oh yeah, you guys are awesome. Like all the people that have just like shown me so much love and support, like y'all are the best. And I just hope that you know that you've had a serious impact on me. And there have been times where like your messages like truly, truly, truly like lift my hearts and lift my spirits because like I said, there were some times where it was really difficult to
Right.
try to just balance things. Like I said, especially financially, like there's a lot of things that were on my shoulders, and it was a lot of pressure, and it was hard. And you guys were always like so nice and so supportive, and I love you guys. So I
Wow.
love y'all.
Yeah, we love you too. And that's the thing, a support system, because it gets hard right there. Salute to your support system, because like I said, every time I see you, it's like I think that's the spiritual side of you. It's like no matter what I'm going through, once I step out in public, all we ever seen was that smile. Like, yo, she's you here, you about to turn it up. What is she gonna do? You don't know if you dancing with dancers. We don't know if you coming in the crowd or what, but it was always a performance. And you always brought an energy about you that was almost like over the top. It was like excitement. It's like, yo, people doing their sets and stuff like that. But it's like, well, what is she gonna do? And one thing me and my crew, we always talk about, me and Team Collective amongst us, is like, you've always been down to earth. It's like that's one thing that stood out the most. Is like, yo, Amanda Pollard, she's down to earth. It's like, numerous events we've had, and we reached out and said, yo, Amanda, could you do it? And when we asking you, we thinking she's not gonna do that. She's out, and it's like from the cancer benefit shows to different things. It's like if you could make it, you always made it.
Mhm.
And for me and my crew, yo, I want to thank you for that. And it's like one thing with Carolina that we don't do as artists. We don't give each other our flowers while we're here.
Mhm.
From the time I've met you, I've had nothing but respect from you. You always had your crown on, even down to your mom at certain shows. It's like it was just a certain way that y'all moved. And it was like a godliness, almost even respectable of honor. And
Oh,
you've
thanks.
never took that off. You've never changed. It's like no matter what, I've never seen you lose your cool. I've never seen you out of character. And I'm talking over years, 10 years and better.
Mhm.
So with that, it's like I don't know what God has for you, right? But if this is just the beginning, I can only imagine the future, because I don't know too many people that have did the things that you've already done, even that started out with us. I don't even
Mhm.
know some that can even talk about music and have that peace and smile, because sometimes it's like things don't work out the way we want. We become bitter, the industry, fallouts and things like that. So it's like some people, they don't even want to talk about music anymore. It's like that's
Mhm.
making me angry to see the
Yeah.
peace on you and see the smile. And it's no different even with this show. Amanda, yo, would you like to do an interview? But I'm thinking she's not gonna do it. You've always been like, yeah, if I can help, you've always helped me. And publicly, I want to give you your respect and give you honor and say it really means a lot, because millions of times I've asked you to do things and I'm like, she's definitely not going to do it. And you have. And it's like, and I have a big love for you and respect for that, throughout the years. And it's like, you've always been consistent again. And when you come back, enjoy your break, right? Because we all need that. It's like
Mhm.
sometimes it's like we're going through a lot mentally. It becomes a lot, or just life. Life happens.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, enjoy the moment. Use that as motivation for what you're gonna do next. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you might be living the album right now, and he just hasn't released the words. So it's like, we go through things, we don't know why we're going through. Then it's like, boom, you get the bright light. Now it makes sense and clicks.
Right.
So it's like, I'm pretty sure for these 3 years, you got a million things to write about. And just that smile alone, if you can transfer that through music, that's what the world needs right now. Because a lot of people, they hurt, and there's a lot of stuff
Mhm.
going on, people dealing with deaths and stuff
Mhm.
like that. So just your smile and your what's the word? I don't want to say it the wrong way. Like the way your posture and your whole spirit, the way you're just there.
Oh,
It's
thanks.
just peace, It's just peace. It's like I'm living my best life. Everything is good, and it's like, and that makes me want to smile. It's almost like you're smiling, it makes me want to smile. Now I'm having a bad day, but it's like I feel better. It's because it's not
Okay.
about what we go through. It's
Yeah.
definitely about the other people. So it's like I definitely
Mhm.
salute you for that, because you've always been that way. You've accomplished more, like I said, than a lot of people I know in the game. And if nobody told you, I'm proud of you for
Well,
everything that you've done as a woman in this Carolina music culture. You
thank you.
stuck, you stayed, and just like the cream, you've always rose to the top. You didn't follow the trends. You didn't get up with this person to get to like other people do. You did it your way. It worked, and you're still here, and it's only gonna go higher from here. So from me to you, I want to tell you on the proof, we love you, and thank you
Mhm.
for your contributions, from the music to all the memories to all the performances, even down to like how I got this headset on now. Before you, the only people I ever seen wear the headset with the microphone was Janet Jackson and Bobby Brown. But I've seen an indie Carolina artist named Amanda Pollard. Like, I didn't come to play with y'all. It's those things that stand out the most, and it's like that's priceless and forever. And
Thank
I
you.
thank you for those memories. I thank you for the ones to come. I thank you for the experiences, and I thank you for your spirit and always being authentic and down to earth. I really salute you for that.
Thank you. And I appreciate you too. Like you thanked me for the shows and stuff. Oh, I'm thanking you. Like you guys gave me an opportunity and I'm really, really grateful for it. So thank you. Your words like mean so much to me. Um, More than I can say. I'm like, oh, don't make me cry.
Nah,
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Like you don't know like how much I appreciate hearing those words. So thank you.
and I definitely mean it from my heart, and I got mad love for you. So let me ask you, when the project is done, or you get the single together, would you come back on here?
Yes, of course.
Wow, that would be awesome right there. So for the people that's watching, you got any last shout outs or any last words for the people watching right now?
um, Everybody, I hope everybody is staying blessed and happy, and we're coming out of these dark past 15 months. You know, just enjoy life because we realize these last 15 months, like, it's fragile. And tomorrow is not always guaranteed. You don't know what's coming. So
Right.
do it, whatever it is, go for it.
All right. And those that want to follow you, where can they follow you at?
Instagram and Twitter at underscore Amanda Pollard. I'm on Facebook too. Just Amanda Pollard. Search me and I'd love to connect.
Okay. And that's the thing right there. And then you got the single "You Got Me Wrong." They can find that on Spotify as well as other music, or how?
Yeah. Yep. That's on Spotify, Apple Music. The singles on YouTube. You can just search Amanda Pollard and you'll find me.
Wow. And that's a beautiful thing. And again, I thank you again for coming to the platform. We want to thank everybody for watching. Yo, this was a dope episode right here with a legend. But I'm telling you, for those that don't know, we definitely have a living legend in the building. And it's like, if you haven't heard her story, I don't know where you've been. You can't be in Carolina and not know about her. She's definitely paved the way, and she's definitely going to do bigger things. And we definitely have your back over here. So anything that we can do on my end to help you or support, I'm all for that. We thank everybody that watched. Either they watched the live or if you're watching the playback, we definitely appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to definitely follow Amanda Pollard on social media. Check out her music on music platforms. And again, we thank y'all and we love y'all. I'm going to play the video again of You Got Me Wrong, and then we're going to sign off if that's cool. All right. And and this is the Proof in the Pudding podcast show. Thank y'all for watching. I'm your host, Sion 919, and we've had Carolina icon in the building, Amanda Pollard. This is her latest video, You Got Me Wrong. And we thank y'all again. We love y'all. Have a good one.
AP. Lie. That's what you do, that's who you are. You couldn't keep it together, baby, that's why we fell apart. On the low, just like how we didn't know. I got news for you, my mom ain't raised no fool. Now, say that I'm tripping, bugging so hard, but you crossed the line when you threatened. And I cannot forgive it, cause you made your decision. When it comes to my heart, baby, that's when I take no prisoner. Boy, cause I got my own bag, yeah, I pay my own bills. Matter of fact, it's my crib, let me tell you the deal. Pack it up, pack it up, go. Get your things, cause you got to go. Get your things up out my home. I don't wanna see your face no more when I walk through that door. I don't know and I don't care what kind of stuff you must be on. If you thought that I was average, ooh, you got me wrong. Get gone, 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 get gone. Why did you do it? You out here walling so my peace of mind. Now I'm feeling like Kendrick. You killing my vibe. Please don't kill my vibe. Wasting my time. You wasted my time. Yes, you did. Cause where I believed it, I bought the beautiful light and we was gonna make it. All the love that I've given, everything that I shared in, you gon' throw it away for a thotty boy, was it worth it? Hold up, boy, cause I got my own bag, yeah, I pay my own bills. Matter of fact, it's my crib, let me tell you the deal. Pack it up, pack it up, go. Get your things, cause you got to go. Get your things up out my home. I don't wanna see your face no more when I walk through that door. I don't know and I don't care what kind of stuff you must be on. If you thought that I was average, ooh, you got me wrong. Get gone, 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 get gone. Why you wanna snack when you had the whole meal? Why you tryna flex when I know the real? You shoulda known, you shoulda known, you shoulda known, you shoulda known. Why you wanna snack when you had the whole meal? Why you tryna flex when I know the real? You shoulda known, you shoulda known. Get gone, get your things up out my home. I don't wanna see your face no more.